everyone, welcome back. If you're new here, I'm Katie, and today I'm doing some book recommendations for the Princess Bride-athon 2025. So if you missed the announcement video, I am doing a Princess Bride-athon of 2025. It is a readathon that's based off the Princess Bride book and movie. You do not have to read or watch the movie to join in and have fun in the prompts, but it will help in understanding the concept of some of the prompts. But I just thought it was going to be a lot of fun. It's one of my favorite book and movie, and it's literally like my favorite adaptation as well. I'm getting too excited. I'm getting flustered. Let me grab some water first. Okay, so I finally put it in my reading journal. It wasn't in my 2025 reading journal setup, unfortunately. It did not make that because I didn't have the announcement video up as well, so I didn't want to spoil you. So this is what it looks like. I just made some cute little graphics, and you will also get a bingo board, a blank one and a regular one with all the prompts. That way you can fill it in as you go with either little pictures or the words of the books that you choose for each prompt. So I'm just so excited to do this with you all. I have been waiting patiently. I've had this in the works since the beginning of my YouTube journey. I just was like, I need to do something Princess Bride theme. I need to do Princess Bride theme. And it finally happened. So yay. And some I obviously can't like actually, have any books for you because some are like based on your own opinions and stuff. But we're going to try. So the first one is Princess Buttercup, which is red on the cover. So I have a few here with red on the cover. I did say half the cover had to be red, but I'm okay with like a third of the cover being red because I did have a couple. So the first one is The Right Rose Resists by Amanda Barrett. This is a World War II historical fiction about the students who defied Hitler, and they were spreading, propaganda and all the newspapers and stuff like that in people's mailboxes and stuffing them under doors and everything, trying to get the word out that saying, hey, this is not a good thing that's happening. And so it's a very, very good story. And the ending, seriously, she just makes me cry at like all endings so far. But it was really, really good, and I really enjoyed that one. Then I have Potiphar's Wife, which is actually the first book in a duology by Misu Andrews. This is a biblical fiction story on, Potiphar's wife, and I can't remember her name, Zuleika. And it's a very heartbreaking kind of viewpoint of Zuleika, and maybe, it's fiction. So the possibility of what she could have gone through before meeting Joseph. So it's all about her story and how she became Potiphar's wife and stuff. And it was very interesting. And Misu Andrews definitely gets you in the mood and more excited about diving back into God's word and just being like, doing more studying and everything. And so I really enjoyed it. So I would say this is about a third of the cover is red. And the last book I have for you is actually the second book in a series, and it's Set in Stone by Kimberly Woodhouse. And if you've read the first one, honestly, it was just okay for me, but the second one was like instant 5 stars. It was so good. I really, really enjoyed it. And these could honestly be read as standalones because they don't even follow the same characters, I don't think. They're just about different women who find themselves in the archaeological field and digging for dinosaur bones. And there's a mystery involved. And this mystery, ooh, it got me good. So yes, those are the 3 that I have for a red book on the cover, all different shades of red. Then the next prompt is This One Left Them All Behind. And for that one, it's a 5-star prediction, so I really can't help you with that. That's, your own decision, I guess, if you want to pick a book that you think might be 5 stars. I can always give you 5-star books, but I don't know if you would enjoy it. So that's up to you. So the next prompt is Wesley, an adventure story. So for that one, Set in Stone could work because it's got some mystery, it's got some, archaeological adventure going on. So definitely Set in Stone by Kimberly Woodhouse could work for that one. The Rare Jewel of Everly Wheaton by Susan L. Tuttle. This one's really good. It's kind of got that Charlie's Angels feel. So it's got a little bit of mystery, a little bit of treasure hunting. It's a really good time. I really, really love this book. And her next book in the series is actually coming out, I think, in February, something like that. But I'm hoping to get a copy, really hoping, because the first book was really good, and I really want to read her second one. So that one could be an adventure story. You could also do like a fantasy adventure story if like a fantasy has a lot of adventure or sci-fi. The which this isn't the first book, so, but I think it's the second book. Yeah, book 2. But the Jocelyn Saga by Ronnie Kendig. This one has a lot of adventure and a lot of action in it. Highly recommend the audiobooks. So this one would definitely be an adventure story. A lot of historical fiction has adventure, so get creative with that prompt. As long as it has a little bit of adventure in it, you're good to go. Then the next one is As You Wish. That's, again, reader's choice, so that's up to you. You can read whatever you want to read. Then the next one is Farm Boy. Again, it's a borrowed book. That could be anything. I don't have any book recs for you. Next one is The Fire Swamp, hot new release. And I don't have any new releases like that are, as of yet, that are coming out like next year for you guys. But in the past couple months, Brave came out by Mr. Andrews. This is really good. Biblical fiction story on David and his wives in the Bible. So that one was really good. We have Spectres in the Glass House by Jamie Jo Wright, which was also really good. Highly recommend it. I think this one could be a little bit of an adventure story. So this actually also could be. But yes, so both of these were really good. They were just near me. So I just ended up picking those ones for you all. But any adventure, or what were we on? Hot new release. Sorry, not adventure story. Hot new release. So those are 2 that I had just on my shelves handy. Then the next one is MLT, Second Chance Romance. So if you're still in the mood for a Christmas romance, because I know you out there, some of you are still reading Christmas romances in January, maybe even February. I'm one of those people who might in January. But The Christmas Sketch by Tony Shiloh, this one's a really great one. It's about a man who has a football injury, and so he decides to go home, and he runs into his old flame from college. And I really like this one. So that's one. And honestly, I don't read a whole lot of second chance romance, and if they are, I tend to forget that there actually are. So that's not a huge help. There is one though that I did really enjoy. So it's this one, With Every Memory by Janine Roche. This one was amazing. Now this one is actually about a married couple that kind of has a second chance of being something more, as the wife was in a car accident a few years ago, and she loses her son, and she loses 6 years of her memory. I think it's 6 years, or 8 years. And so she has no memory of what went on in their marriage. She has no memory of her home. Her daughter's completely different. And this was such an impactful read, and it was so well done. And I just really, really loved it. I loved the kind of the second chance at life plus at the romance with her husband. I just really, really like this one. Next prompt, Fezzik, a book of poetry. And I don't read a lot, but I do love children's poetry, and that's ones that I have read in the past. So the ones I'm going to recommend to you are, I really like Shel Silverstein, and I actually like his collection of poetry versus like the ones that like he only had one story, like, what was it? Runny Babbitt and the Giving Tree, I think that's what it's called. And those were pretty good, but I like more of his collections of poetries because there was a lot of funny ones in there. I just really enjoyed them. So that's my recommendation if you want something a little bit smaller. And also the Giving Tree or Runny Babbitt would count as well. Then for if you want like a full length poetry collection, I think I have one on my shelves. So this is one that I've actually had for a really long time. This is Poems by Emily Dickinson, and my mom keeps trying to steal this book away from me. She thinks it's hers. I said, no, I won it at I think it was like a baby shower or something. I was like, no, I won this. This is mine. This is mine. Stay away. But this is one of my favorites, and I'm not actually sure when this was published. But this isn't the full collection. I actually do have her full collection on my shelf, I think. Oh, I guess I don't. Apparently, I unhauled that. So I'm going to have to go buy one. But some of my favorites, I know my dad likes one. I don't think it's in here. But he really likes the one about How Doth the Little Crocodile. That's Melanie Dickerson's. I can't remember which one's my favorite. It's been a while since I've read one, so I was trying to find, like, in the list. There's a lot of her poems in here, actually, so I'm probably not going to find the one that I really like, but I used to read this one lots. And they were all really good. And some of them are very, very short. They're all really short. Like, there's one that's, like, you know, very, very short. I don't think this is actually... that could have been one poem, actually. I don't know. It could have been. But I don't even remember which one I really liked. But honestly, a lot of her poems are really, really great. And so she's my favorite as far as like classic poets are. Really like her. And there's also one, but it's really, really long. And it was by Lord Byron, and it's about pirates or something. Like, I was like, oh, I have to read it. But that one's a really, really long one. Would not recommend it. It's long. I mean, I'm talking like it's 100-page poem. I'm like, or even more than that. I don't know how long it was. It was crazy long. I researched it for an English class in college. I'm like, why did I pick this one? It's so long. But yeah, it was really long. Then the next prompt is Vizzini, a villain's point of view. Can't talk. So this could be just one point of view is the villain, or you could also do like the whole book as the point of view of the villain. I don't really think I have a lot of books in that sense. So we're just gonna like have to like find a book along with you guys. Ooh, I know. Ooh, it's a good one. Wait, is it in the point of view of the killer? I can't remember now. I think it is. Don't quote me. But it's very, very good. Crisscross by C.C. Warrens. Love that book. Oh, but it does get eerie. Ooh. But I love it. It's so good, and I can't recommend that one enough. It's really, really good. And I've only read the first book, and I can't remember if there is a point of view of the killer or not, but she just wrote it so well when he was in those scenes that I was like, it literally felt like he had his own point of view, even though I don't know if he did. But if he didn't, I would count it because it was that good. Then the next prompt was, I'm not a witch, I'm your wife, and that is mistaken identity. And I know quite a few of Melanie Dickerson's books have that mistaken identity. There's also The Goose Girl by, I think it's Shannon, oh, what's her last name? Shannon West, I think, or Shannon, I can't think of her last name, but that's a middle grade book, and that one's really good, and I feel like that kind of has that mistaken identity in it. Even this one, as I mentioned before, Brave by Misu Andrews, there's a part right in the beginning where she was mistaken for somebody else. But there's a very small part, but there's a lot of really great ones. Definitely look up fairy tale retellings. There's a lot of them that could be. Then the next one is ROUS, Readings of Unusual Size. So that's a book over 500 pages. And if you can't tell from the books on my bookshelf, I don't really have any that are over 500. I don't even honestly know if I actually do have any on my shelves. Okay, my copy of The Fellowship of the Ring is 506 pages. So that would definitely count. And I was kind of tempted to do a reread of Lord of the Rings next year. So I think this might be my choice. I don't know. But I can't recommend Lord of the Rings by J.R.R. Tolkien enough. He is one of my absolute favorites. And I actually have not read anything else by him other than The Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. But they are excellent books if you are in the mood for just some really, really great fantasy. That was kind of like just the beginning of the fantasy era. And I love the series so much. It goes along great with the movies if you're in the mood for movies/books. So this is another one of my favorite book to movie adaptations. And also, if your physical book or ebook says like $480 or $490, I would be okay with that. Plus also, look at other editions on Goodreads because some of them might actually be past that 500 mark. You just have to look. So the next prompt is, anybody want a peanut? That's a buddy read. So you could use one of the buddy reads I'm doing on my channel during my readathons. You can count one of those. You can buddy read with a friend or a family member, with me if you want to, in a Facebook group, wherever you want. Just pick the same book to read with somebody. Then the next prompt is Country of Gilder, a fictional place. That's basically fantasy and sci-fi. So literally any fantasy or sci-fi. The Drossaren Saga by Ronnie Kendig. I'm still continuing this series, but it is so good so far, and you really do need to read it. Highly recommend. Let's see what else. Wishdress, which is over there by Nadine Brendes. Highly recommend. It is so good, and it is a standalone, even though I want her to write more. Like, just write more, please. It's so good. But that's a standalone, definitely set in a fictional world. Lord of the Rings. You can read that if you want. Chronicles of Narnia, that's definitely, out of this world. But yes, anything that's not set in our world. Oh, Star Wars. This is the, I have to move my bear. But this is the Han Solo trilogy by A.C. Crispin, and this is one of my absolute favorites. I've only read a handful of Star Wars books, but I still go back to these because these are my absolute favorite. And I love these. So this is another series I'd love to reread next year. Definitely in my list. And yes, definitely set in a fictional world. Next prompt is iocane powder, ebook or audiobook. And for that one, that can be honestly any choice for you, but I've said this before many times. If you want a phenomenal audiobook, if you're new to audiobooks, if you've never tried one, The Drossaren Saga by Ronnie Kendig. Ooh, wow. The narrator does such an exceptional job with that. Like, I literally want to listen to whatever he's done. That's how good he is. And I don't normally do that, so pick it up. It's so good. Then the next is Dread Pirate Roberts, a book with pirates in it. One of my favorites is The Hawk and the Jewel by Lori Wick. That one's so good, and I do want to reread it. I don't know if I will by this point or not, but I hope to. Then Victoria McCombs has a trilogy. I think the first book is called Oathbound, so I might end up putting that on my list because I have been really wanting to read that series, and it does have pirates in it. So either of those would work. I don't read a ton of pirate books, but like I love pirate books, if that makes any sense. Like I need to read more pirate books to get more of a feel for them. But they're so good that I just want to read them all now. Then the last prompt is Inigo Montoya, finish a series. And for that one, again, I don't really have any options for you because it's whatever series you're in the middle of. Or if you don't have any currently going on, start and finish one. Pick a duology or a trilogy that's really easy to complete. All right, so if you have any book recommendations for any of these prompts, please feel free to put them down in the comments so others can find them as well. I probably do have more recommendations. Those were just at the top of my head. So I hope you all have a wonderful day, and I will see you all in the next video.